Introduction: the aftermath of conquest. The Hellenistic legacy of Alexander the Great's empire represents a significant cultural and historical transformation that emerged following his unprecedented conquests across the known world. From Greece to the Indus Valley, Alexander's campaigns not only dismantled the Persian Empire but also facilitated the spread of Greek culture, language, and ideas. This legacy laid the groundwork for the Hellenistic Age, a period marked by cultural syncretism, intellectual advancement, and economic expansion. This exploration of the Hellenistic legacy of Alexander's empire will examine the key aspects of this legacy, including cultural exchange, political changes, and intellectual achievements, as well as the lasting impact on subsequent civilizations. Cultural exchange and syncretism. 1. Blending of Greek and local cultures. Cultural synthesis. The conquests of Alexander led to the blending of Greek culture with local traditions, resulting in a rich tapestry of artistic, religious, and social practices. The establishment of new cities, particularly those founded by Alexander, facilitated cultural interactions that enriched both Greek and local cultures. Art and architecture. Hellenistic art reflected this synthesis, with artists incorporating elements from diverse cultures. The use of emotion, realism, and movement in sculpture became hallmarks of Hellenistic art, exemplified by works such as the Venus de Milo and the Laocoon group. 2. Religious syncretism. Integration of deities. The Hellenistic period saw the emergence of syncretic religions, where local deities were combined with Greek gods. The worship of Serapis in Egypt is a prime example of this fusion, reflecting the blending of Greek and Egyptian religious beliefs. Philosophical exchange. The interaction between Greek philosophers and Eastern thought led to the development of new philosophical schools, such as Stoicism and Epicureanism, which integrated diverse ideas about ethics and the nature of happiness. Political changes and governance. 1. Establishment of successor states. Fragmentation of the empire. After Alexander's death in 323 BCE, his empire fragmented into several Hellenistic kingdoms ruled by his former generals, known as the Diadochi. These successor states adapted and modified Greek governance models while incorporating local customs. Ptolemaic and Seleucid kingdoms. The Ptolemaic kingdom in Egypt and the Seleucid Empire in Persia became prominent centers of Hellenistic culture. These kingdoms retained Greek administrative practices while also integrating local traditions, fostering stability and cultural exchange. 2. Cultural patronage and governance. Support for arts and sciences. Rulers of the Hellenistic kingdoms actively patronized the arts and sciences, establishing institutions like the Library of Alexandria and the Museum of Alexandria. These centers became vital for research, learning, and the preservation of knowledge. Civic integration. The promotion of Greek culture alongside local customs contributed to a shared identity among the diverse populations within the Hellenistic kingdoms. This integration helped to stabilize governance and foster loyalty among subjects. Intellectual achievements and advancements. 1. Scientific progress. Mathematics and astronomy. The Hellenistic period produced significant advancements in mathematics and astronomy. Scholars like Euclid and Archimedes made groundbreaking contributions that laid the foundation for future scientific inquiry. Medicine and biology. Advances in medicine during the Hellenistic Age included the work of figures such as Hippocrates and Galen, whose studies on anatomy and health practices influenced medical knowledge for centuries. 2. Philosophy and education. New philosophical schools. The Hellenistic period saw the emergence of new philosophical schools that blended Greek and Eastern thought. Stoicism, founded by Zeno, emphasized rationality and virtue, while Epicureanism focused on the pursuit of happiness. Education and scholarship. The proliferation of schools and libraries during the Hellenistic period facilitated the spread of knowledge. Scholars from diverse backgrounds collaborated and exchanged ideas, enriching the intellectual landscape of the era. Economic expansion and trade. 1. Trade networks. Expansion of trade routes. The Hellenistic period witnessed the expansion of trade networks that connected the Mediterranean with the East. Trade routes facilitated the movement of goods, ideas, and cultures, enriching economies across the Hellenistic world. Cultural exchange through trade. The flow of trade not only promoted economic growth, but also fostered cultural interactions. Merchants, scholars, and travelers exchanged ideas and practices, leading to a vibrant cultural milieu. 2. Urbanization and economic growth. Rise of Hellenistic cities. The establishment of new cities, such as Alexandria, Antioch, and Pergamon, created urban centers that thrived as hubs of commerce and culture. These cities became vital to the economic and cultural life of the Hellenistic world. Cultural and economic prosperity. The integration of various economies under Hellenistic rule contributed to increased prosperity. The blending of Greek and local practices enhanced trade, agricultural productivity, and urban development. The socio-political dynamics of the Hellenistic world. 1. Governance in the Hellenistic kingdoms. Decentralization of power. After Alexander's death, the successor states exhibited a trend toward decentralization, with local rulers gaining significant autonomy while still recognizing the cultural influence of Hellenism. This created a mosaic of governance where local customs coexisted with Greek political structures. Bureaucratic innovations. The successor states developed bureaucracies that combined Greek administrative practices with local traditions, ensuring effective governance across diverse populations. The use of Greek as the administrative language facilitated communication and coherence in governance. 2. Role of local elites. Integration of local nobility. In many regions, Hellenistic rulers integrated local elites into their administrations, allowing them to maintain power and influence while fostering loyalty to the Hellenistic state. This strategy proved effective in stabilizing governance and reducing resistance. Cultural patrons. Local elites often acted as cultural patrons, supporting the arts, education, and public works. Their investment in cultural projects helped to promote Hellenistic ideals and foster a sense of shared identity within the regions. Cultural contributions and innovations. 1. Literature and theater. Dramatic works. The Hellenistic period witnessed the flourishing of literature, particularly in drama and poetry. Playwrights such as Menander introduced new forms of comedy that focused on everyday life and social interactions, reflecting the complexities of Hellenistic society. Epic poetry. The legacy of epic poetry continued, with poets like Apollonius of Rhodes, who wrote Argonautica, blending Greek myth with contemporary themes, showcasing the interplay between tradition and innovation. 2. Scientific advancements. Foundation of modern science. The Hellenistic era is often regarded as the beginning of modern science due to the systematic approach adopted by scholars. The use of empirical observation and experimentation laid the groundwork for future scientific inquiry. Notable contributions. Figures such as Eratosthenes, who calculated the circumference of the Earth, and Hipparchus, who developed early astronomical models, made significant contributions that influenced later scientific developments. The cultural exchange beyond the Hellenistic world. 1. Interactions with Eastern cultures. Cultural integration with India and Persia. Alexander's campaigns extended to the Eastern territories, where Greek culture began to merge with Indian and Persian traditions. The exchange of ideas, particularly in philosophy and art, enriched the cultural landscape of the regions. Influence of Eastern philosophies. The encounters with Eastern philosophies during Alexander's campaigns led to the introduction of new ideas and beliefs into the Hellenistic world, creating a dialogue between different philosophical traditions. 2. The role of trade in cultural exchange. Trade routes and cultural flow. The expansion of trade routes, including those that linked the Mediterranean with the Indian subcontinent, facilitated the flow of goods, ideas, and cultural practices. This interconnectivity promoted cultural syncretism and enriched the Hellenistic experience. Economic prosperity. The thriving trade networks established during the Hellenistic period contributed to economic prosperity, allowing cities like Alexandria to flourish as centers of commerce and culture. Legacy and lessons for future generations. 1. Enduring influence on Western civilization. Cultural foundations. The Hellenistic legacy established cultural foundations that would influence the development of Western civilization. The emphasis on reason, inquiry, and artistic expression shaped philosophical and artistic movements in Europe for centuries. Philosophical impact. The schools of thought that emerged during the Hellenistic period, such as Stoicism and Epicureanism, continued to influence philosophical discourse in the Roman Empire and beyond, resonating in contemporary discussions about ethics and existence. 2. Lessons in leadership and governance. Cultural diplomacy. Alexander's approach to governance, which emphasized respect for local cultures and integration of diverse populations, serves as a model for contemporary leaders seeking to navigate multicultural societies. Military strategy and adaptation. The military innovations and strategies employed during the Hellenistic period continue to inform modern military thought. The principles of adaptability, cultural integration, and psychological warfare remain relevant in contemporary military and political strategies. Conclusion: the Hellenistic legacy as a cultural milestone. The Hellenistic legacy of Alexander the Great's empire represents a monumental chapter in the history of human civilization. The cultural exchange, political,